All right. Good morning. We are here for another rendition of our story talk, the oral history of High Hopes therapeutic riding. We are with Landon and Nancy Potts and their dog Tiggy. It is Thursday, September 28th, 2023. So good morning, Landon and Nancy. We're so happy that you were able to join us, and we're sorry to miss Reeves. But we know he's a little hard to pin down sometimes, so we'll get him at another time.
Get him later.
But it's wonderful that you two, with such long history with High Hopes, and Tiggy, we have to count Tiggy, are willing to share a bit with us. So I think it might make sense for us to start, Landon, with you.
Sure.
Because your history with us is so incredibly varied, and your perspective. I mean, starting from your earliest memories, what do you have?
Oh my gosh, there's so many early memories. I mean, I remember I was super competitive, so I loved the horse shows. I had to be first and second in everything. But I really liked the horse shows. Riding Touchstone dressage horse was amazing experience. I remember Kitty and all of them took me off site to canter and gallop because I was a daredevil, and I think I tested out a few new horses to, the daredevil brave child that wanted to try all the new horses was fun. But I think one of my fondest memories was riding over the Baldwin Bridge on Apple when the bridge opened.
Yeah, that was
pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think we decided that was in the early 90s, 93 maybe.
Yeah, so I was about 10 years old or so.
Yeah. And so you started, how old were you when you started?
4.
Yeah, 4 years old. And where did you start, Landon? Do you remember? And we might have to tag Mom on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was at the facility y'all had before. It was out on 156. It was
Cricklewood or Kingswood.
Kingswood. It was Kingswood. Yeah, that's when it was.
Yeah.
And it was very nice. But boy, when we got this, it was just amazing.
I think you mentioned you started at Kingswood. And then, Nancy, the brief stint that we did in Chester at the Strain family farm.
That's right.
Yeah. In Winthrop.
And I can't remember how long that was, but
it wasn't maybe 6 months or so in transition, and then we were here.
Yeah.
So you were one of our very first participants on the property.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, so you, and help me, Nancy, you being very physically involved, we're working with our physical therapist, but your family loves risks and accepted all those risks. So you really were someone that, we could say, hey, Landon, what do you think about this? And you enjoyed that. I know, I don't know if you remember this. Nancy, you probably do. Landon, you were in one of our early brochures. I do.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Is that one of me hugging the horse?
Yeah, we have certainly that picture. Yeah. You were riding Romy. Judy Lightfoot was there beside you, and you were walking through a field of flowers.
Yes, and this is what I remember too, because they were videotaping it from the back of Romy's butt. And so it looked like Romy was wearing a hat, and my legs were just sticking out straight because I was such a tiny,
see any of her body.
I was like such a tiny little peanut on him.
You were really small, and she had a really big barrel.
Yes,
You're absolutely right. I think we have that photo in more than one place around the facility.
And there was also the time that Morley Safer came out and did a thing, and I remember they got some pictures.
Yeah, that's right. Morley, I think, was the honorary chair of one of our Symphony in the Meadows events. Right? Yeah. And speaking about events, Nancy, tell a little bit about, your perspective as not only a mom, but as an equestrian.
Well, yes, I rode a lot growing up. I ate, slept, and breathed horses. I just loved them. I was allergic, so I went to a 3-day event. I'd be in bed the next day practically, but I did a lot of riding growing up, and I was so excited. When a friend of mine had worked with a therapeutic riding group down in Greenwich, I think it was Pegasus, and I remember thinking, that sounds like such a neat organization, and this before I ever had any children. And so after we had Landon, we figured out they've never diagnosed her, but once they figured out that she had some issues, I read an article in Reader's Digest about Elsie Vera, back when it was Elsie Vera, and Jenny Hotchkiss, who, strangely enough, ended up being sort of involved with Reeves's business because Bobby Connell was married to Jenny's sister. and who was one of the big people at Hollis Point. So I came out and got involved when we found out that Landon had some issues, and I just thought, oh, this just seems wonderful. And I just thought it was just a perfect match from right from the very get-go. And I just thought it would be so much fun to be involved in the courses again. Unfortunately, my allergies had gotten worse, so I couldn't be a sidewalker or something. But we were involved in other ways, which I just loved. The Symphony Meadows and the big barn bashes and all of the different things that that they had for all sorts of, and of course, shows. So we loved being involved in that.
And you still are. I mean, you guys have, I don't
and
you
yes.
ever missed.
And the nicest people I think you could ever meet. Landon's always said
I said, I'm so spoiled because when I worked here, I said, I'm so spoiled. I'll never get a better group of people to work with. And you guys have been family. I mean, I've known you guys since I was 4.
Talk about that work experience, Landon, because
Okay, well, it's actually really cool because, Kitty, who's now the executive director, was my first riding instructor. She and Holly when I was 4 years old. So they've come full circle now. But my work experience, I think I started out working as the receptionist, and then the administrator. I think the receptionist during college years, and then between law school and I think it was between college and law school, I don't know. I was the administrative assistant, and then I worked in development.
And that was in the very beginning of our development, even having a development office, because that was all a volunteer function. Yeah. So you were right on the ground floor. Mm-hmm. And today, Landon, what's your role at High Hopes today?
Today, yes, I'm on the board. I fought Kitty tooth and nail about it because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here for this, but it's an incredible honor and privilege to be asked and to be part of it again, full circle, from rider to employer to on the board. It's just an honor to be involved in this for so long.
And Landon, you're Kitty's boss.
Yeah,
as a trustee, right? There you go. and Nancy and Landon, we are missing a pretty important person as someone who's involved. Can either of you, or would you talk a little bit about Reeves's involvement, both as a father, as a parent, but also in terms of his leadership in the organization?
Yeah, well, Reeves is he likes to be involved in getting things done. So he, I think, when he really got excited about it was when you all started when you had been gotten this wonderful property, and I think he was working a lot with Jeff Ridgway and getting this all sorted out and built. And I think it was so fun and exciting for him to be involved in that. And what an incredible facility that everyone was involved in, and so much thought went into it. And to suddenly be able to have your own place, so you're not having to worry about whether you're going to have to move to a different facility and things like that. It's been wonderful. And to be able to have the events out here. I remember when they used to have the Symphony in the Meadows at the Lightfoot place and stuff like that. And then even out here, and Reeves would always bring a big cannon that they would say, could you maybe bring another cannon next time? Because yours is louder than everybody else's. But we've both enjoyed so much, and Reeves has just, again, it's the people that we've met through High Hopes has just been fabulous.
It's probably one of the organizations, too, that he's had the longest, consistent commitment.
Other than work, that's probably one of his, and the New York Yacht Club, it's probably one of the longest relationships he's had in something. And we just... He
sees you as family, too. All of you as family, too. Since we've been there since so long.
And I'm sure I'm sorry he's not here with us right now, but he's traveling. He always seems to be traveling in business.
We'll try to get him.
You'll get him.
We'll try to get him.
He'll make a point of it.
Good. Is there anything else either of you would like to add, or that I might have forgotten to ask? Or I think one of the things that, Jackie was sorry that she couldn't be here, and I don't know, Landon, if this is maybe could you speak to the benefits a little bit about as a participant, or Nancy, what were the things that you saw with Landon? I think the very first thing you said in this interview is probably somewhat telling. I'm a daredevil. you know. So maybe speak to that and the fact that riding these unknown horses or doing this as an activity, and what did that mean?
Well, I mean, I think just being on this incredible animal, I mean, they're huge and they have so much power. It just was thrilling and fun and, and an incredible workout. And, since I can't walk I think back then I was walking. But just being on this animal that, you can get so much exercise on and stretching. And I mean, those horses for me was like total splits. So, but yeah, I mean, and all the animals.
And to be in control.
To be in control of something that big. I always tell people that I was so spoiled at High Hopes because, you guys really, really vetted these horses to get the nice smooth gaits. So one time my parents took us to the Grand Tetons. So I was like, I got this, going up on a horse, going up the Grand Tetons. I was like beaten up because I was like, never understood how much you guys vetted the horses. I was leaning on the Western saddle all bruised up and everything. But yeah, no, I mean, these horses were amazing. Like I said, Touchstone, we're being able to ride it to Shy's horse. Romy was so special to me. I think I rode Sylvia.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. And Apple, I rode across the Baldwin Bridge. But I mean, I rode so many horses over 10 years, but it just was an amazing experience because so many people just either scared of horses or don't know how to ride horses or, but yeah, they're just incredible animals.
It was really good for her because, like I say, she was undiagnosed, but she had very, very tight muscles and a lot of spasticity in her muscles. And when you put her on the horse, the warmth and the movement of the horse just relaxed her muscles. It's really been almost one of the best forms of therapy that she's ever had because she would come down and she would be, once she finished, riding, she would be so much more relaxed and her muscles would be looser and everything just, the horses are just magical. I mean, whoever thought up the whole therapeutic riding concept was just brilliant because it's just one of the most amazing forms of therapy I think you can do.
Even now, since I have no circulation, like under 85 degrees, I'm frozen. I think it's winter. And again, like my mom said, the horses, the warmth just helps me so much with keeping my muscles loose and relaxed and warm.
You guys are the best. Anything else, David or Susan? It's wonderful. Great. Thank you both very, very much.
And it's such an honor to be involved with a program like this. It's just, and like I say, all the people, but the good that is done for so many people. And, whether they're veterans or adults or children with any sort of, whether they've got disabilities or they're socially awkward or whatever, it's just, there's something about horses and there's something about the people in this program that are just unbelievably amazing. So we feel
it's such an honor and privilege to be involved for so long and we're just the most amazing people I could ever ask for.
And I'd say that right back to you, that I think for all of us who are able to do the service and provide the service, you're an inspiration as a family and as individuals. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's good. Wow. You brought tears to my eyes, you guys. Woohoo. Thank you.